What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another peak week vlog. Today I am 5 days out from the St. Pete Pro / amateur show. That is my qualifier before I go and take my shot at my pro card in classic physique. So I'm going to take you guys through a full day of eating. It's actually extremely depressing because I am at the point where I'm like really carb depleting hard. This is my third day of 4 to potentially 5 days of doing that. So I'm gonna show you guys what I'm eating. I'm actually cooking some salmon up right now. That's for my first meal. I just did cardio for 45 minutes. Scaling cardio back a little bit at this point. Just 45 minutes of zone 2 cardio, meaning like my heart rate is around 110, 115. But I actually feel quite horrendous right now because I've not eaten yet. I'm extremely depleted. Let me show you guys this salmon cooking up because it looks pretty damn good if I don't say so myself. Check that out. Look at that. That texture is everything. Cannot wait to eat this. A lot of what I'm doing right now is eating fattier cuts of meat or fish or whatever because there's just like no carbs in my diet at all other than, you know, like this will be the only carbs I have in this meal is these 100 grams of green beans. So today I am going to have with this first meal 200 grams of salmon, 100 grams of green beans, and then a quarter teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt, and then the only condiment that I'm really using at this point is yellow mustard. And the reason for this is because I'm controlling sodium a lot. At this point now, the first few days, and I showed this in my last vlog, I was having 3 gallons of water. Now I'm having today 2.5 gallons, and then I'll just keep tapering down. And same with sodium. So sodium started at 5,000, so 5 grams on Saturday. Today's Monday, I'm at 4 grams, and then it'll just keep dropping, and I'll show you guys that as I go. And I'll explain the reasoning behind all of that. But let me finish getting this meal together, and then I'll show you it. So at this point now, everything is in fact weighed. So I'm even weighing this yellow mustard out. I get 15 grams. There we go. 16. Messed it up a little bit, but it's fine. So that is the meal, 200 grams salmon right there, 100 grams green beans, and then like I said, there is a quarter teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt, can't speak, and then 15 grams of yellow mustard. I'm going to put the macros for all of these somewhere around here, but you'll see that, and then I'll total everything at the end of the day. It's time for meal 2. This just happens to be my pre-workout meal, and it's very sad the amount of food this is. I'm just going to be honest. For a pre-workout meal, this is very, very sad. But remember, the entire point is to carb deplete so that when I am reintroducing carbs towards the end of this week, there's ability for super compensation, which basically means that the muscle glycogen stores can now uptake even more carbohydrates into them because they were so depleted. It's a real phenomenon, and it does exist. So to be honest with you, getting this depleted really, really hurts. Like after I ate that first meal and I went and laid down, and I literally just felt like true death, and I'm kind of feeling like that right now again. But got to do this, and then I'm going to train chest and biceps at MI40. I'm going to take you guys in there and show you some of that. So here it is. We have 200 grams of chicken, 100 grams of green beans, 15 grams yellow mustard, and a quarter teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt. I literally can't speak. And then there's 100 grams of strawberries with, there we go, 50 grams of blueberries. And that's it. That's the meal. Macros are somewhere over here. So we're 2 meals in, and then I'll show you guys this one to eat it post-workout, but I got this together for my post-workout meal. So getting this all together, about to leave for the gym right now, and then I'll show you guys some of the training session. It's not super intense. Peak week workouts are not like that. All right, so a few sets in. Things actually feel a little better than I expected them. I expected to not be able to get any kind of contractions, considering I haven't had like any carbs other than that fruit for the last 3-4 days. 3 days. I can't think straight right now. But actually, things are moving pretty well. It's probably because my sodium is pretty decently high still, 4 grams, plus my water intake's still pretty high. So I think those two things are kind of helping me a little bit. But you know, this kind of workout, you're not pushing yourself necessarily. Like, I'm not training to build muscle at this point. I'm just trying to get contractions going, feel the blood go in there, and kind of push it for that. So I have one more set on this, and then I'm gonna do an incline, and then a little bit of, I can't think straight. Again, pec deck, and some bicep work, then pose. That's pretty much it.
Oh yeah. One more. There we go.
Workout's done, did some posing after. Looking good from the front. The back's a little, I don't want to say bad, but just not where I'd like it to be. But I also am loading water very, very hard, and my glutes, hams, lower back tend to hold a lot of that. So I know that'll come off, so I'm not that concerned about it, but I was mildly panicked when I saw that. Anyway, so let's check out the post-workout meal. I have 200 grams of ground beef. There's like 100 grams of peppers in here, 15 grams of yellow mustard, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt. So I'm gonna eat this, and then I'm gonna probably pose a little bit more, go back, and after that I still have 3 meals left. Yeah, 3 meals. So I'll show you guys the rest of those, and you can see the macros for this meal somewhere on the screen right now. Meal 4, guys, just cooked up this chicken actually, and let's talk real quick about artificial flavorings, because a lot of people pull that stuff completely out. Now, I will say I definitely reduce it a lot. So I allot myself 1 drink like this per day during peak week. So this is the drug of choice, drink of choice today, if you will. So I went with the Ghost Hydration. Now, remember, because I told you guys I'm limiting sodium, So this actually works pretty good because this is very high in potassium, which is totally fine. This only has 40 milligrams of sodium in it. So this is my treat of the day, if you will. And then I have 100 grams of raw weight spinach here, and there's 200 grams of chicken. Now, I did not put sodium on this meal because basically the way that my sodium works today, with it being 4 grams, is I need to have one meal where I don't have the sodium, like the added pink Himalayan sea salt. So I decided to make it this meal because I kind of want it with the last one. It'll be like my little treat before bed, if you will. So this is all this meal is, the 15 grams of yellow mustard on here, and we have to go to the store after this, the camera woman behind there, because I forgot things earlier. So I'm gonna eat this, and then maybe I'll take the camera to the store and kind of show you what we're gonna buy. So we'll see what happens, but time to eat up. Meal 5, boys and girls, probably mainly boys. But so I actually have these zucchini noodles. I don't know if I still have the package here. Actually, it's right here. So it's just these veggie spirals. There's literally like no sodium in this. It's literally just zucchini. The ingredients list on here is just zucchini. So I fry this up, and then this equates to about 150 grams. Yep, 150 grams. That's exactly what I want. 153 grams of that. And then for the main course here, another ground beef meal. So I get 200 grams of this. Look at that. Oh yeah. Let's get that right there. 200. Oh, a little too much. Right on the money. Okay. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, I'm adding the sodium to this meal. So it's gonna be a quarter teaspoon of the pink Himalayan sea salt right on top of there, like that. Body is just craving the sodium. It's gonna be so sad in a few days when I have like none until I bring it back the night before the show. But that's the price we pay, boys and girls. Again, boys and girls. I know my viewership's mainly men for the most part. So then we got the yellow mustard, 15 grams of this. I cannot tell you how sick of eating this I am. I would do anything to have another condiment right now. But that's how we roll. 15 grams, there it is. Dead on the money. Okay. So that's gonna be the last meal that I have right now. So what I end up doing actually is, you guys, I'll show you this after I eat this meal when I'm getting it together. There's one more meal. I actually have it overnight because I always wake up hungry. So what I decided to do is I go to bed, and typically within like 2 or 3 hours I'll wake up and I'm starving again. So I just keep the 6th meal for that time. So I'll show you guys that before I prepare it, before I go to bed. But then I'll give you the total macros right now for this meal, and then I'll show you that meal and those macros and the whole day's macros at that point. So this is the 6th meal I was talking about that I'll have overnight. Now, it's a very interesting combination. Try not to judge it. If you've never tried this, I highly recommend it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine this plain non-fat Greek yogurt here. I'm gonna use one of these zero sugar light and fit vanilla Greek yogurts, and then I'm gonna mix in a scoop, Jesus, not the right way, of this Rise cinnamon toast protein. Now again, when I told you guys earlier about, you know, artificial flavorings and that kind of stuff, again, we are trying to limit that a bit during a peak week, but a general good rule of thumb for this kind of stuff is if it wasn't bothering, like if you're not having digestive problems from it before, I really don't think it's going to cause you some insane issue during peak week. If it does and you do have problems with that, you can cut it out. Again, you just don't want to overdo it, okay? That's my personal opinion on that. That's how I approach things with my clients, and that's how I approach it for myself. So I have 125 grams of this non-fat, plain one. Now I need to find the opening for this. Then I'll put this in. So this will amount to, between the two, both of these Greek yogurts, this will amount to a total of like 25 grams of protein. And then the scoop of protein itself is 25 grams of protein. So it amounts to literally 50 grams of protein. And that's literally all this meal is. And so I will tell you guys straight up, I don't think I've ever talked about this in other videos. A big problem I used to have in previous preps is I would wake up in the middle of the night, and more people do this than they're willing to admit, and I would eat things I shouldn't eat. So the way that I figured out to get around that was, and honestly, I'd be like half awake doing it. So the way I found to get around that was having something prepared and ready. So rather than eating 6 meals when I'm awake, I eat 5 when I'm awake, and then I have this one ready. So when I wake up half asleep, I just eat this. It's already factored in my macros. So that's what I do with that. Also, putting in a pack of stevia. You can come over here and show them how I'm mixing this. So let me show you guys this. So it literally just gets mixed up like this. I know it looks insane, but it's actually very, very tasty. Believe it or not. I might be a little bit biased because of how hard I'm dieting, but it actually is very good. And so this will just get put in the fridge. And like I said, when I wake up in a few hours, I will have it and it'll be ready. And then that way, it's already factored in. There's no problems with that. So that, guys, is the end of this video. So thank you for being a part of this. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to detail, a lot more this peak week as well as the show day, and then peak week for my pro qualifier, which will be next week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Here's the finished product of that. Delicious. It's like a dessert, or so my prep rating tells me. So I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day or night, depending on whenever you're watching this.